Good day, guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be discussing a very interesting topic titled plant tissue. Now, I just want you to understand okay, let's take our mind back to when we were in secondary school. We were taught organization of life. We we're taught that life begins from the cellular level. From there, we get to the organism. So from the cell, we have the tissue, we have the organ, the system, and the organism. All right. So what is a tissue, for example? A tissue can be defined as group of cells performing specific function. So group of cells performing specific functions are referred to as what? Tissue. So plant tissue. So what is a plant? A plant are multicellular eukaryotes with tissue system made up of various cells type that can carry out specific function. So plants are multicellular. That means they're made up of many cells. Multicellular eukaryotes. What's the meaning of eukaryotes? That means plants are advanced. They're advanced in the sense that their chromosomes are not naked but are enclosed inside a structure called the nucleus. So plant tissues can be divided into two types. We have the meristematic tissue and we have the permanent tissue, or the non-meristematic tissue. So the meristematic tissue, these are tissues that have the ability to divide. Okay, they have the ability to undergo cell division in order to produce more cells. While the permanent tissues, these are tissues that have lost their ability to divide, and they are placed in that permanent position. All right, so that's a difference between the meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. So meristematic tissue cells are either undifferentiated or incompletely differentiated, and they continue to divide and continue to grow in the plants. So under the meristematic tissue, there consists of three types based on their location. We have the apical meristem, the lateral meristem, and the intercalary meristem. So meristematic tissues are of three types. We have the apical meristem, the lateral meristem, and the intercalary meristem. So the apical meristem, this is the meristematic tissue that is found at the tip of a plant, okay, at the tip of the growing plant, be it the shoot or the roots. So this meristem is found there. And what is the function? It ensures cell division at the tip of the shoot or the root region of the plant, so that the plants can increase in height. So you might be wondering, what is making my plant to grow after planting the seed? What is making the seedling to be formed, and what is making the seedling to grow up and to grow bigger? Is because of the action of the apical meristem. Apart from that, we also have growth hormones that are responsible for that elongation, or for that increase in height in that plant. We have growth hormone like the auxin, which is responsible for growth in plants. We have the cytokinin, which is responsible for cell division. Okay, those hormones are very, very important. So hormones, alongside with the division at the apical meristem, allows the plant to grow in length. So the next meristem we're looking at is the lateral meristem. The lateral meristem, this is the meristem that facilitates growth in thickness or gaps in a matured plant. Now, if you look at a matured dicot plant, for example, mango, which is Magnifera indica, you see that the plant is very big in terms of diameter. What is making it to be that big is because of the lateral meristem. So basically, lateral meristem is responsible for secondary growth in plants. And the next tissue we're looking at is the intercalary meristem. The intercalary meristem is basically responsible for growth at the internode. So the question is, what is an internode? Internode, this is a distance between two successive nodes. distance between two successive nodes is known as what? Internode. So growth at the internode region. So the internode can increase in, in length because of what? The intercalary meristem. So meristem produce cells that quickly differentiate or specialize and become permanent tissue. Take note of that. So permanent tissues are gotten from what? From the meristem. Such cells takes on specific role and function. They differentiate. That means such, cells that, divided from the meristem differentiate into three types. We have the dermal, we have the vascular, and we have the ground tissue. So what is the dermal tissue? The dermal tissue covers and protects the plants. That is where we have the epidermis. Okay, it covers and protects the plants from what? Desiccation, from drying out. So if you look at the anatomy of the epidermis in a plant, you see that inside the epidermis, you see stomatas. Stomatas are found there. And it's this stomata that is responsible for gaseous exchange in plants. Apart from, that, we have a layer that covers the epidermis, and that layer is called the cuticle. And the function of the cuticle is to prevent the epidermis from drying out. So, the vascular tissue, these are known as conducting tissues in plants. What does it mean to say something is conducting? That means that thing is allowing materials to pass through. Okay, we call them the conducting tissues in plants, and those tissues are, the phloem and the xylem. The function of the phloem is to translocate the manufactured food, which is, gotten from photosynthesis, from the site where the food is being manufactured to different parts of the plant where it is being needed for growth and development. So why the xylem? The function of the xylem is to absorb water and mineral salts from the soil via the roots. So the water and mineral salt, which is being absorbed by the roots, will go straight through the stem, to the branches, even to the leaves. From the leaves, if the water is too much, it will evaporate into the atmosphere in form of water vapor, and that is known as what? Transpiration. So the ground tissue is a simple tissue, meaning it contains only one cell type. So this is the diagram of the epidermis, and you can see the stomata inside the epidermis in form of an oval shape or a dumbbell shape. Okay, so what controls the opening and the closing of the stomata is known as the guard cell. So when the guard cell open, gases run into the stomata like CO2, and when the stomata closes, nothing go inside. Okay, so in woody plants, let's look at what happened. In woody plants, do we still have the epidermis there, or it is being replaced by another structure? So let's look at it. In woody plants, the epidermis break apart into a thick periderm as secondary growth allows the plants to grow in girth or to grow in diameter. The cork cambium, which makes the cork cell, and the phloem, which is parenchymal cell on the inside of the cork cambium, together make up the periderm. The periderm functions as the first line of defense of the plant, protecting the plants from fire or from heat injury, dehydration, freezing condition, and disease. And what this statement is trying to make us to understand is that woody plants, especially woody dicots, undergo secondary growth, and the formation of secondary growth or the initiation of secondary growth lead to the formation of new xylem and new phloem, while the old xylem and old phloem die back. All right, so the old xylem and the old phloem, these are what lead to the formation of of the cork, which is the secondary xylem. and you can see, you can easily call the cork dead cell, because the old xylem and the old phloem are already dead at maturity. So every year, as plants keeps taking in water and nutrients on yearly basis, they form new xylem and new phloem, while the older one runs backward to form the cork cambium, to form the cork, which is the secondary xylem. So the periderm consists of what? The cork cambium, and the phloem. So the cork is the outer, part of what? Of the plant, which is now called the back of the plant, or the back of the stem, and it's very, very hard because it contains what? Lignin. All right. So if you cut out the cork, you expose the cork cambium. So most times you see, people, destroying the cork of a plant, they're exposing the cork cambium. And if you destroy the cork cambium, you see a layer or another part called the phloem. So these three, structures make up what's the periderm. So this is the cross section of a woody stem. The periderm is composed of the cork cambium, the cork cell, and the phloem. Thank you so much for listening. And in the next, class, we'll be discussing other interesting topic. Stay tuned. Please share this information and please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.